I understand that everyone's going to be curious what happened, and at a point in the future, maybe we will speak on those things a little bit, but also, nobody really knows the inner workings of anyone's life. Even a good friend, there's always more that people aren't seeing, and things have been going up and down for a while. This was not a decision that came lightly, and it is very heartbreaking. I'm not good with words a lot, actually, but specifically right now, we don't have many answers right now. We don't really know exactly what the future holds.
Amanda and Kylie's divorce isn't just another YouTube couple breakup. It is a deep dive into what happens when love, business, and social media collide. After 8 years of marriage, 3 kids, and a YouTube empire built together, Amanda filed for divorce on Valentine's Day 2025.
I didn't feel ready to make this video. But unfortunately, a video was shared about my personal life and our family, and so I feel that it's best to talk with you guys.
And while Amanda has been careful with her words, her statement leaves a lot to unpack. So let's break it all down: the early red flags, the power shifts, and how their story went from happily ever after to yet another YouTube marriage casualty. The cracks in Amanda and Kyle's relationship did not just appear overnight. If you go back and watch their old videos, there were subtitle hints, signs of a strain that, in hindsight, seem impossible to ignore. One of the biggest turning points when Kyle quits his full-time job as an air traffic controller to help Amanda with content creation. At the time, it seemed like an exciting move. They framed it as a team effort, a way to fully commit to their growing brand. But the reality, the moment Kylie walked away from his stable career, the dynamics of their marriage completely shifted. The security of a government job with benefits was traded for the unpredictability of social media income. And with that came an entirely new kind of pressure, one they may not have fully anticipated. The change wasn't just financial, it was emotional too. Kylie went from being an independent provider to stepping into a supporting role in Amanda's growing business. And while they may have called it a partnership, it was clear Amanda was the driving force, the face of their brand, the one making deals and handling the bigger picture. Meanwhile, Kylie's role seemed more undefined. Was he an equal collaborator, a behind-the-scenes assistant, a co-manager of the business? He often spoke about their work in ways that suggested he was trying to convince himself and the audience that this was the right move. In their video announcing his resignation, Kylie admitted, "People are going to feel weird about it, I'm sure. Think that I'm crazy and dumb, I gave up retirement, and you're probably partly right."
We decided to take the leap, and I left my job at the airport, and now this is what we do. So I know people are going to feel weird about it, I'm sure, and think that I'm crazy and dumb and I gave up retirement, and you're probably partly.
Even back then, he knew people would question the decision, and for good reason. We've seen this play out so many times. YouTube husbands quitting their jobs to work for their wives, only for the relationship to crumble under the weight of blurred boundaries, financial pressure, and an unspoken power shift. What starts as a dream, freedom from traditional employment, working side by side and creating content together, often turns into a logistical and emotional nightmare. The excitement of being self-employed fades quickly when the business takes over every aspect of life. The roles within the marriage become muddled. Is he a co-creator or an employee? Is she a wife or a boss? And when the husband is no longer the breadwinner, but rather dependent on the success of the YouTube channel, resentment and frustration can quietly build. Kylie's unease about the decision was evident from the start. The way he framed it, "I know people are going to think I'm crazy and dumb," already showed a level of self-doubt. Maybe he knew the risk but convinced himself it would work because, well, it had to. Amanda herself acknowledged the toll content creation was taking on her, saying, "It got to the point where I was having anxiety attacks all last winter."
And also YouTube was getting so busy. I think I definitely had no idea how busy and like how much time goes into like filming and editing and all the behind the scenes and all the like technical stuff, and I can't think of the other words, but like all that kind of behind the scenes stuff. But it really was so hard. Like I was feeling so overwhelmed. He was feeling overwhelmed. He would come home from working at that place and then help me with YouTube. And like it got to the point where I was having like anxiety attacks like all last winter. Like
and we're not complaining or whining.
No.
Like I'm not like, oh, our channel's too big, I'm gonna cry. No. That's not the intent at all. But it was a lot of factors that led up to where I just couldn't work there anymore.
That should have been a red flag. Instead, they doubled down, making their business and their marriage more entangled than ever. The more success they found on YouTube, the deeper they wove their personal and professional lives together. The money, the brand deals, the constant need for content, it all became the glue holding their relationship together, even if cracks were already forming beneath the surface. What started as a creative partnership slowly turned into something more complicated. Their home was no longer just their home, it was a set. Their conversations were not just between husband and wife, they were moments that had to be camera ready. Every project, every decision was tied to their brand. And when a marriage becomes a business, the relationship itself can start feeling like a transaction. Rather than stepping back and reassessing whether this lifestyle was sustainable, they pushed forward. Maybe they thought the stress would ease once they reach a new milestone. Maybe they convinced themselves that working harder would fix what was slowly unraveling. Either way, they were all in until they weren't. When Amanda finally addressed the divorce on her channel, she was very careful with her words. She did not play the victim. She did not throw Kyle under the bus, but she also did not give much away. Instead, she walked a tightrope, offering just enough emotion to connect with her audience, but withholding any real insight into what led to their split.
A video was shared about my personal life and our family, and so I feel that it's best to talk with you guys and kind of let you in a little bit more than we have. I know it's felt off lately because things have been off lately. And that's how life goes, You're always just trying to hold things together the best you can, put your best foot forward, do your best for yourself and your kids, and I'm not here to spread dirt or mud. I understand that I'm in the public eye, and I so appreciate the love and support and the kind comments that I've received. The positive ones so far outweigh the negative ones, and I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for you guys.
Her demeanor in the video was somber but composed. She was clearly emotional, her voice cracking at times, yet she maintained control over the narrative. It wasn't a tear-filled confession or a dramatic expose. It was calculated. Every pause, every sigh, every carefully chosen phrase felt like it had been rehearsed to ensure she revealed only what she was comfortable sharing. While some might see this as a mature approach, others could argue it was strategic. By keeping details vague, she protected herself from speculation while also leaving the door open for further content down the line. Divorce is a major life event, and for content creators, it's also an opportunity, whether intentional or not, for engagement. But what stood out the most was what she did not say. There was no direct acknowledgement of what caused the breakdown, no mention of specific struggles within their marriage, and no clear statement on Kyle's role in the separation. It was as if she was talking around the divorce rather than about it.
I understand that everyone's going to be curious what happened, and at a point in the future, maybe we will speak on those things a little bit, but also nobody really knows the inner workings of anyone's life. Even a good friend, there's always more that people aren't seeing. And, things have been going up and down for a while. This was not a decision that came lightly, and it is very heartbreaking. I'm not good with words, a lot actually, but specifically right now, we don't have many answers right now. We don't really know exactly what the future holds, but as things unravel and as things unfold, I will keep you guys updated of what what things will look like going forward.
This kind of selective storytelling isn't uncommon among influencers, but it raises questions. Was she being respectful or was she controlling the narrative? Was she protecting Kyle or was she protecting her brand? Her first words set the tone. I did not feel ready to make this video, but unfortunately, a video was shared about my personal life. Right away, she makes it clear she wasn't planning to talk about this yet. The timing wasn't on her terms, which raises the question, what forced her hand? Was it rumors, speculation? She goes on to say, yes, are in the beginning stages of a divorce. Our family has been going through a very turbulent time, and it's been incredibly hard on all of us. She acknowledges the pain, but avoids specifics. There is a deliberate vagueness in her words, a careful tiptoeing around the real issues that led to the moment. Instead of giving a clear reason or discussing the deeper problems in their marriage, she chooses to frame the situation in broad emotional neutral terms. Then she drops this line, I don't want to share details out of respect for anyone involved and specifically our children. A classic PR move. Control the narrative by saying just enough to satisfy curiosity, but not enough to invite further questions. And she's right. The details aren't owed to anyone, but let's be real. YouTube audiences always want more. Then there is this. Things have been going up and down for a while. This was not a decision that came lightly, which makes one thing clear. This wasn't sudden. The breakup did not just happen. It was building for a long time, maybe even years. Looking back, there were so many small moments that hinted at trouble beneath the surface. Subtle shifts in tone, body language, and even the way they spoke about their relationship. Amanda often shared glimpses of their lives that in hindsight suggested stress. Kyle, once confident in his decision to quit his job, started appearing more reserved in videos. Their conversations felt more transactional, less like the playful couple their audience once knew. Even Amanda's comment in her recent closet clean-out video, "That's something you'll have to do yourself," takes on new meaning now. It was a casual remark at the time, but in the retrospect, it sounds like someone mentally preparing for a separation. They may have tried to keep up appearances for the camera, but the foundation of their marriage had already started to erode. Their YouTube empire had become bigger than just the two of them, and at some point, it seems the relationship got lost in the business of it all. The pressure, the stress, the shifting dynamics, it had been leading her for a while. This wasn't just a breakup, it was the unraveling of something that had been struggling for years. So let's get into it. What really ended Amanda and Kylie's marriage? First, let's talk about the YouTube curse. We've seen it time and time again. When a husband quits his job to work for his wife's YouTube channel, the balance of power shifts. Suddenly, the wife is the boss. The husband is no longer the provider. And that dynamic change, it can create resentment. Kylie went from being an air traffic controller, a career that demands precision, authority, and structure, to becoming a supporting player in Amanda's business, a role he had never envisioned for himself. The transaction wasn't just about quitting a job. It was about reshaping his entire identity. For years, Kyle had a clear purpose. His job had high stakes, structure, and stability. But in the YouTube world, there was no concrete strategies, no promotions to strive for, no steady paychecks. Instead of navigating air traffic, he was now navigating algorithms, brand deals, and video editing. And let's be honest, not everyone thrives in that kind of uncertainty. Did he feel like an equal partner in the business, or did he feel like an employee? One who wasn't sure what his job even was. The stress of this shift likely seeped into their marriage in ways they did not anticipate. When your partner is also your business collaborator, it is hard to separate work disagreements from personal one. If Kylie ever felt like he had lost his independence, that could have caused quiet resentment to grow over time. Let's not forget, this wasn't just her success. This was their livelihood. And that kind of pressure, it can break even the strongest relationships. And then there's the subtle moment from her closet clean-out video just 4 days before filing for divorce. Amanda specifically avoided touching Kylie's clothes, saying, "There is something he will have to do himself." At the time, it seemed like nothing. Now, it feels like a sign that their separation was already in motion. If we rewind 3 years to when Kyle quit his job, we can see the signs clearer than ever. Even then, Amanda acknowledged how overwhelming content creation had become. She spoke openly about the unexpected demands of running a successful YouTube channel, how the workload never seemed to end, how filming and editing consumed more time than she ever anticipated, it wasn't just about picking up a camera and recording daily life. It was about curating content, managing partnerships, staying ahead of trends, and keeping an audience engaged 24/7. At the time, Kyle's decision to quit seemed like the natural next step. Their channel was growing rapidly, and the financial rewards made it possible for him to leave behind a traditional career. But in hindsight, this was also the moment when their relationship began to shift. Kyle wasn't just quitting the job, he was stepping into Amanda's world, a world that had already been shaped by her vision, her hard work, and her growing influence. What either of them seemed to fully grasp was how this change would impact their dynamic. Amanda had built something successful on her own, and now Kyle was expected to fit into that framework. But what was his role really? An eco partner, a production assistant, a stay-at-home dad with a side job? These questions, whether spoken or unspoken, started to linger in the background, quietly reshaping their marriage in ways neither of them could fully control. I had no idea how busy and how much time goes into filming, editing, and all the behind-the-scenes technical stuff. She was drowning in the workload, and Kyle, he was leaving behind a stable career for an industry that's unpredictable at best. The truth is, their marriage had been evolving long before the divorce papers were filed. YouTube did not just document their relationship, it changed it. And ultimately, it couldn't survive the transformation. Was this bound to happen? Did Kyle regret quitting his job? Did Amanda feel the pressure to being the main provider? Or was it simply the natural end of a relationship that had been changing for years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see how it all started, check out their video from 3 years ago when Kyle quit his job for YouTube. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into influencer drama. Until next time, bye-bye.